I'm Terri Savelle Foy, your cheerleader of dreams. Thanks for joining me. I want to share with you the 5 books that'll change your life this year. First, before I get into that, I love reading stories of people who beat the odds. They didn't allow hardships to stop them from living their dreams. So let's do another quiz in this week's video. Which celebrity had a rough start by her father walking out on the family before she was even born? Her mom had problems with battling addiction, and her stepfather had trouble holding down a job. Now, many of her early years were spent living in a trailer park. She left all of it at 16 years old, dropped out of school, and moved to Hollywood where nobody could resist her. Was it Farrah Fawcett, Demi Moore, Courtney Cox, or Blake Lively? I'll share the answer in just a little bit. And hey, for my subscribers, this week, I'm doing another giveaway on Instagram. I'm giving away my book, Imagine Big, and it's already signed by me. So all you have to do is obviously subscribe to my channel by pushing the arrow below, but also screenshot this video and post it to your story. Now tag me in it so I can see it, and I have been loving seeing your creativity on Instagram. So I'm going to choose one winner to send my book to. Remember, all you have to do is subscribe, screenshot, post it to your story on Instagram. And I'm always checking Instagram, so I cannot wait to see you. So, which 5 books will change your life this year? Let's start with number 5. The Aladdin Factor by Jack Canfield and Mark Victor Hansen. Now, I actually read this book years ago on vacation in the Bahamas, and honestly, it still smells like coconut oil. In fact, you can see it is smeared all over the book. This looks terrible. But I could not put this book down. It shares one of the greatest lessons you'll ever learn in life. You ready? How to ask for what you want. That's it. The Bible says you have not because you ask not. Well, this book explains how many of us are missing out on things simply because we never asked. I'm talking about scholarships, discounts, bonuses, upgrades, percentages off, and so much more. In fact, years ago, McDonald's decided to apply this simple principle to increase their sales, and they came up with a unique way to ask for more. They trained their staff to ask one more question when someone ordered a hamburger and a drink. The question was, would you like fries with that order? Obviously, a lot of people said, sure, why not? This single question added more than $20 million to their bottom line. Well, after I read this book, I started sharing it with all my friends and telling them, let's do this and just see what happens. Well, my best friend Teresa, she asked for a full scholarship for her son at a college prep academy. Normally, it's $14,000 a year. You ready for this? They gave it to her. $14,000 because she asked. My former coworker at the time, Micah, he is an amazing artist and musician, and he wanted to take his band, and perform in some coffee shops and restaurants around town. So he thought, I'm going to start asking. He booked 8 shows in 2 months. My husband, Rodney, he has no inhibitions about asking. He asked the hotel where we were staying for a vacation. He asked them just out of nowhere. He said, would you give us a discount? You know what they did? They upgraded our room to a suite at the cheapest room price. I'm not making this up. And then me, I really had to build myself up to do this, but when I finished this book, I was ready to ask anybody for anything in a tactful way. This is not about begging for things or being tacky about it. It's more about being proactive. Well, one of my dreams was for a clothing store to sponsor my clothing. I'd been praying about that for years and nothing happened. Well, I was just hoping God would bring the right sponsor across my path. Well, after reading this book, I realized, Terri, get up and go ask. Well, when I finished the book, I drove to this very chic and trendy boutique in Fort Worth, Texas, and I walked in, and this very attractive lady approached me, and she said, can I help you find something? I said, yes. As a matter of fact, I'm looking for something very specific. And then I asked her, I said, are you in management here? And she said, I actually own the store. I said, then you're the one I need to speak with. I said, do you ever provide or sponsor clothing for TV personalities, YouTubers, authors, people like that? And then she said, yeah, we've actually provided clothing for one other TV host. I said, well, would you be interested in sponsoring me? Within seconds, she said, I would love to. Seriously, before we left, we were hugging, exchanging cell phone numbers, and the owner was saying I could call her anytime I needed clothes. You know what? You have not because you ask not. See, that one bold question, it saved me thousands and thousands of dollars by just asking. Isn't that amazing? Okay, so the next book, number 4, is The 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth by John Maxwell. Now, this copy I'm holding, it just happens, hang on a second, it happens to be signed by one of my heroes, John Maxwell. Do you know how much I cherish this? It actually says, your friend. He calls me his friend. No, but this book is an instruction manual for taking the next steps to grow. Grow yourself, grow your influence, grow your income, grow your business. I've shared before that when I developed a personal plan for growth by doing what this book says to do, I went from ghostwriting books for other people to authoring books. I went from attending conferences to speaking at conferences. I went from just watching TV for hours to hosting a TV show. Well, Maxwell stresses that growth doesn't just happen. It must be intentional. And this book will help you get an intentional plan to drastically grow yourself. And remember this, when you grow, everything around you grows. So, the 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth. The next book I want to mention, number 3, is The Slight Edge by Jeff Olson. This book emphasizes the key to success is in your daily habits. Now, successful people are simply those with successful habits, right? In fact, 44% of the wealthiest people in the world get up early to read, journal, listen to messages, exercise, invest in themselves. I'm telling you, this book needs to be at the top of your list. You might even want to start with this one because I'm telling you, when you realize that success comes one day at a time, not one decade at a time, you will be much more intentional about your daily decisions. And this book is so easy to read, you will not want to put it down. You know, as Darren Hardy says, success is achieved through inches of progress, not miles. So the bottom line is, hang on to this phrase, you can't have a $1 million dream with minimum wage habits. It's powerful, isn't it? So he very practically teaches you how to be a little better today than you were yesterday. So I cannot recommend this book enough. Number 2 is Be Obsessed or Be Average by Grant Cardone. Now, Grant Cardone is wild, but he's wildly amazing. So this book really put the motivation I needed behind a word that I heard in prayer years ago. I was just journaling my time with the Lord, and I heard this phrase just come up in my spirit. The Lord said, don't be average and your life won't be average. And that applies to everything. You know, don't be average and your career won't be average. You don't be average and your marriage won't be average. Your body won't be average. Your finances, your relationships, your opportunities, you know, everything. Wherever you choose not to be average, everything around you won't be average. So remember, average is as close to the bottom as it is to the top. Well, after I read this book, I started going above average in my pursuit of my dreams. And I can say today, we have an above average life, an above average ministry. I've been given above average opportunities. You know, people say, Terri, your ministry has grown so much. How did you do it? Well, first, I didn't do it. I give God all the glory because without Him, we are nothing. And second, faith without works is dead. We take above average action. So get this book and you will never sit back and just wish things would change. You will get up and take action. You ready for number 1? Wow, look at this. You can tell I have read this. It is highlighted and all marked up. This is The Success Principles by Jack Canfield. Now, if you've listened to some of my messages or read any of my books, you've undoubtedly heard me share from this book right here. It's big. Look how big that is. But it is worth every single page. I have given this book away to so many friends and colleagues and pastors as gifts because it is truly life-changing. I mean, look how worn out this is. Can you see how much I've marked through that? I refer to it, I reread sections, I quote it. I don't even know what all to say because there's so much. But I guess I would say This book contains the foundational principles to help you succeed in every area of life. So if you read this book, you'll have what you need to get going. Now, if you apply this book, you will not be where you are today next year at this time. Guaranteed. You will be amazed at what God will do in your life. So, these are the 5 books that will change your life. And I actually have 2 more I wanted to share, but we don't have time. So I added them to the download. Just, all you have to do is click the link in the description and you'll see all 5 of these books mentioned today, plus the 2 more to add to your reading list this year, because I don't want you to get overwhelmed. Now, I hope you enjoyed this, and I do want to go back and answer the question. So let me answer that real quick. Which celebrity had a rough start by her father walking out on the family before she was even born? Her mom had problems battling addiction, and her stepfather had trouble holding down a job. She left all of it at 16 years old, dropped out of school, and moved to Hollywood, where she became one of the highest paid celebrities. Was it Farrah Fawcett, Demi Moore, Courtney Cox, or Blake Lively? It was the beautiful Demi Moore. So my point in sharing that with you is don't let anything from your past keep you from living the life that God has planned for you. So remember, just be inspired that if other people can do it, you can do it. And don't forget, I'm giving my book away to one of my subscribers. All you have to do is subscribe to this podcast, screenshot this video, and post it to your story on Instagram. I'll choose the winner this week, and you'll get this copy, Imagine Big, already signed by me. And hey, don't forget, I'm cheering you on to live your dreams. Hey YouTube, don't forget to subscribe to my channel by clicking the button below. And for more inspirational content, click one of the 2 videos right here. And don't forget, I'm cheering you on to live your dreams.